Remembering Allah and rise for the month of Ramadan. Oh Ramadan.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. We are in the second program of the series on blessings on Ramadan. MashaAllah. I would like to congratulate all our viewers for having started in this blessed month. Alhamdulillah. In this particular program, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Mustafa Fazil Ansari, and I represent World Federation of Islamic Missions here in Karachi. We are discussing in this particular program the theory and practices in the month of Ramadan. This is a very important and a very, very distinctly interesting topic, and needs to have a little elaboration in terms of the fact that it discusses the theory and then it comes to the practices. There may be some confusion in the minds of the people, particularly the young folks, and I would like to have the comments of Dr. Qadri on the subject.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As you know that the program recently started by QTV has an idea, a different idea, to promote the term of Ramadan, not only for Ramadan, also after Ramadan, and it is taken as a term of character. So we will be discussing inshallah ta'ala, and let me introduce myself as a
Could you elucidate this point that you just mentioned, that we have to take this on even after the month of Ramadan?
After Ramadan, yeah, alhamdulillah, because Ramadan is a term, as usually known, that we practice fasting, but it's not only fasting, it is entire change in the personality, change in perception, change in your character, change your mindset, change in your everything while you interact with others, while you have your relation with your brothers, sisters, your family members, neighbors. Everything is attached with your perception, your behavior. So Ramadan, as you mentioned, Brother Ansari Saab, as Ramadan theory and practice, the concept of theory and practice is very vast. And while we say Ramadan is only theory or just only it is a practice, I think it is a beautiful combination of theory and practice. And لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ is the best example of the life of Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And we see that after his departure from this world, even today we see the character building is still there, and we see so many companions of Holy Prophet ﷺ, Tabaeen, Tabaeen, or the scholars, or the awliya Allah, the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in shape of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Khwaja Muhyiddin Chishti rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, Hazrat Baba Farid Ganj Shakar rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, Hazrat Imam Qushayri rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, Khwaja Naqshband, Khwaja Sarwad. These are Hazrat Dada Ganj Bakhsh rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, known as Ali Hajwari rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. They did not mention the term of theory. They prove with practice. So Ramadan is onward transmission which conveys a proper message of your behavior and characteristics.
And how would you say that the spiritual content of fasting affects the life of a person to continue thereafter from after Ramadan?
Yeah, very unique question. And obviously, being a student of social sciences, my observation is that once, if you have proper imagination regarding community, the people who are alive around you, that this man is poor, this man doesn't have any resource or resources from community, and I should understand that I was with the practice of fasting, and still I feel myself that I have the same feelings The state of feelings is most important, because this is connectivity. Psychologically you're connected with the needy people, with the community which needs your help, which is asking for your for extension of your hand towards them. While you are there, then you'll be saying, oh my God, this man needs. Because when I was fasting, I had sort of need of water, need of food, need of rest or other stuff. Then he can evaluate the gravity of problem. He can understand the feelings of the people who don't have resources, who don't have all these things. This is one aspect. The second thing is that there are so many names which are in the history, and even today we see Awliya Ikram. They have very sort of things, but why? They committed themselves to be like poor people, to be like ordinary people, to continue with fasting. Why? Because one is that this is mandatory, and second is that after Ramadan there are so many fasting days which are very specific in traditions of Holy Prophet ﷺ or sayings of Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. We find out all these days specific prayers in those days. Why? Because these days increase level of spirituality, attachment, purification of heart and mind, and
concern for others.
Exactly, concern for others. How let me quote or refer a name from your family, Hazrat Shah Abdul Alim Siddiq Rahmatullah Ta'ala alayh, well-known scholar. Your father, Hazrat Dr. Fazlur Rahman Ansari Rahmatullah Ta'ala alayh. Why they are remembered? Why? They are not relatives to me or to others or the Muslim Ummah. There are so many names from Muslim scholars. They did not believe in theory. They believed in theory with such a manner that they follow the practices. And practices would give you a new birth. A new birth for whom? For the community, for the Ummah. Today, we believe in theory.
It is a theory.
Oh my God.
But it has been proven time and time over again that it is something which is practicable.
Yeah.
So I mean that theory. I mean that is the only theory that you find.
Yeah.
The uniqueness of this theory is that in Islam that it is something which is practicable, which can be put into practice, and which is put into practice by the entire community of Muslims.
Yeah.
And the objective is, as you very well stated, that it has to continue after the Ramadan also. The spirit of obedience to the divine command, the following in the footsteps of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, as he performed the various ibadah during the month of Ramadan, as he carried his life in practical terms, all of that has to be followed through after the Ramadan Mubarak as well.
Yeah.
And that is why it has been made obligatory on every Muslim. You see, and there's no exception there, except the fact that if he is ill or if there's some problem there, then he can do it later on.
Brother Ansari Sahab, I would mention a very interesting thing, and it should be kept in mind, that we celebrate Ramadan, and formally or informally we invite people to come for to share for iftar, or sometimes we ask people to come for other stuff like ibadat together or other stuff. And most of the time, knowingly or unknowingly, I don't know, Allah knows better about the intention, because intention is most important for everything. And we give things or to hand over things to needy people, and we want to advertise or to make advertisement with such a manner that the other person who is receiving all these things, he feels himself inferior or insulting, that this guy has done something wrong, that I have been overexposed. So
This defeats the purpose.
Exactly.
As you said very rightly, this defeats the purpose which has been enunciated in the Quran or which has been practiced by the Holy Prophet ﷺ. I mean, the concept of charity is such in Islam that the right hand would not know what the left hand has given.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that is the kind of concept that Islam has given. It is a philosophy so deep and so practical in all its aspects that we have to make it clear in order for our younger generation to understand these ramifications, these practical applications, these fine nuances which exist in the entire theory that we have discussed.
Yeah.
That, you know, and it is such a beautiful pattern that is set of life. That you pray, that you do it in 1 month, so that in 1 month you're doing it so strictly, you're trying to be so obedient, you're trying to create excellence in obedience so that it becomes part of your habit, so it can follow through in the remaining months.
You might be noticing one thing which is very important, that we have left some of our traditions. Today, not for everybody, but most of the time, when we were in the age of 12, 13, 14, in the early age, this was tradition of our parents to take us to prayer, to tell us about the importance of fasting, upcoming months of Islamic calendar, and they would be telling us about different aspects of nights and days and importance of traditional approaches or ritual and festivities. They used to tell us. And very, very important that once if you're 10 years or 11 years old or 8 years old, they used to ask us, okay, now you're supposed to come and commit yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for fasting, for Saum. And the Saum means to keep yourself away from all these halal ashya, or the things. And you'll be committing yourself, making promise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this first day of fasting is most important in the life of any boy or girl or kids.
Yes.
But now this is being, I would say, just left over, unattended. People don't care. I think if
we need to do that.
Yeah, if we revive this tradition,
yes.
That's my son or my daughter is fasting, and this is first day. I would invite my friends and brothers. It would increase message of Ramadan for rest of the people, that they should do, because what we do it, we sit together, we read Quran, we talk of the character of Holy Prophet ﷺ, importance of Ramadan. So blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always there. But once if we groom our children with such a manner that traditionally they're attached with Islamic thought and Islamic mandatory days of fasting, they would be more easy to comprehend.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Dr. Sir.
What should we do? This is my question.
No, I think you have very rightly stated the problem that we have in our modern society, that people don't have time. So they're not trying to keep those traditions alive, which were very, very vital.
Yeah.
To keep the essence of religion in our children in the state that they would require so that they will achieve something really good at the end of the day. Very rightly pointed out, we need to tell our children, explain to our children the essence of Islam and the basis of various traditions that we are following. For instance, we need to tell them what Saum is all about.
Yeah.
Why do we have to keep a Raza at all? Why do we have to abstain from things which are halal, as you said very rightly?
Yeah.
We have to explain to them. Unless we explain to them and we try to, they see in us that we are following all those practices, then only will we be able to have this clarity of thought in our children.
Yeah.
Very rightly said.
Yeah, because Ramadan does not mean only to worship within 30 days or 29 days, and afterward we would be going for other stuff, some nonsense activities, or some other activities which have been prohibited. And if theory and practice, I must mention, It does not mean that during Ramadan I would be distributing $1,000,
Yes.
$2,000, $5,000 or rupees. Inna Allah la yunziru ila suwarikum. The action, Allah does not look at your face.
Face, yes.
Or your faces, because He knows about your intention. What are you doing? Once, if you're getting all these things, the resources are halal, should be continued. And during Ramadan, if it has been done only for the sake of our own self-satisfaction, this is, I'm doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is okay. But as long as where there is a sort of your own intention to be promoted through television, through media, or through some other sources or means, all ibadat would be vanished.
Absolutely right.
This is practice, because Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly asked his companions to bow down before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow my life with such a manner that there must be 100% sincerity. So we have to give up behavior of two-faced policies.
Yes.
This is called munafiqat, diplomacy, or hypocrisy. All these things.
I agree with you, Doctor. Doctor, I think this is a very important point that you have made. And I think the Quran Kareem, in the Quran Hakim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allah basirun bil ibad.
Yeah.
Now the concept of obedience and concept of our abstaining from those halal things, becomes more important here, because we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about everything that is happening in our lives. He knows everything.
And He is creator of entire universe.
And closer to our jugular vein.
Yeah. So what should I say? Obviously, right now we are going to wind up our discussion today.
Yes.
Or say Khuda Hafiz to our brothers and sisters. But I would say thank you for your presence, and
I would say thank you to your presence.
All of our brothers and sisters. And I would, because the mode of the operation of the program is different. Everybody who is here host. So say, what is message of Ramadan? What is correlationship between theory and practice? Correlation between theory and practice is that ibadat or prayers, our intention should be pure, our actions must be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it should be according to Quran and Sunnah. If we are fasting, it does not mean that the other person who is not fasting, he would be criticized, or he or she would be encircled, because there are so many interrelated issues with female. Knowingly, unknowingly, we don't know about that. We should not say anything. We should not ask anything. Same is with our male group or our brothers. The theory practice does not mean that if I am fasting, I would say that, oh, I am superior and the other person is inferior. Please, don't think like that, because Allah knows better who is superior. Just only we should bow down before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should expect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be sending special blessings during this month of Ramadan for everybody. And Allah is for all, and Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam is rahmah, wa ma arsalnaka illa rahmatil alameen, and Ramadan is for all. Let's commit ourselves that we are sincere with all the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And today is the day when we should make a promise between ourselves and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we would be continuing message of Ramadan with such a manner to follow theory and practice till the end of life. May Allah bless all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That is for dhikr, remembering Allah, and rise for the month of Ramadan. Oh, Ramadan.